bank was dealing with, and I was surprised. And this is a matter involving land in Wallerfield. And the person produced to the bank what looks to be very legitimate land title documents, showing that the property is in this particular individual's name. And this particular individual, by the way, happens to be a medical doctor. And were it not for the I would say the honesty of persons involved, nobody would have known about it. But it was reported to me, and when I got the documents, I immediately acted on it. When I saw that this was a fraud perpetrated by a major banking institution in support of a $6 million mortgage, which was about to be granted, I acted. And lo and behold, I was reading the newspaper one day, and this person, by the way, this medical doctor, is writing me all the time, asking me to complete the transaction. The person went so far as to provide proof that they have some sort of affiliation to the political party that I'm part of. And the person got people to lobby me. And I'm reading the newspaper one day, and I see a Privy Council decision involving the same person relating to an act of fraud relating to land committed against their legal secretary in the office. Their secretary, sorry, not legal secretary. It involved a medical doctor and a lawyer. And I immediately wrote to the medical board. I immediately brought it to their attention, and I said to the medical board, apart from my matter, which is at the police service, and I accept that you can't take action on a report that I have made, but here is a parallel matter where the Privy Council has made findings against the person. And I must say that I was surprised. The medical board responded, and they said to me they will await the outcome of the police investigation in my matter. So this is not squatter lords and slum lords, and this is not the average Joe. This is from top to bottom in the society, and this involve officials. We have a file in the police service where I am saying to the Commissioner of Police that a permanent secretary in the ministry worked with a senior person in state lands to grant to 5 relatives of the permanent secretary state land. It involves 7 lots of land with a value of at least $5 million. That is a file I'm not talking about daily paid. I have matters involving, I'm talking about a minister having to write to the Commissioner of Police and to the Prime Minister saying that I have evidence, and here it is, that a permanent secretary, the person responsible for the administration of a ministry, worked with the most senior person responsible for state lands. And the end result is that 5 relatives of the permanent secretary have documents in their name relating to state land. 5 of them. The other 2, I have them by name. I have not been able to trace who they are. And this is entirely my work as minister. Yeah. I have documents. I was driving in Centeno where the ministry has houses which were previously assigned to senior officials who were required to be housed. And I'm seeing some construction activity taking place. And I personally go to the buildings and I see building materials and so on. And I ask that somebody check this out for me. And the occupant produces documents which appear to be HDC documents, and the person is paying $1,400 a fortnight, and they think it's to HDC. And these are all fraudulent documents with lawyer documentation and all of that. That is in the hands of the police. The surveying profession under law there's a disciplinary tribunal, and the composition of it is something that is unacceptable to me, and I intend to go through the process of changing the law. The Land Survey Board is chaired by the Director of Surveys. I have no complaint with that, except that I think it is unacceptable in the sense that as a board, it should be chaired by an independent person. And from a governance point of view, it should be chaired by an independent person. The disciplinary tribunal, the members are nominated by the surveying profession. I have taken the position because I found, imagine the disciplinary tribunal has surveyors on it nominated by their profession who have matters before the tribunal. And I took the position that is unacceptable. In the case of the land surveyors, I am not aware of anybody having addressed that issue by way of audit or otherwise. I said that I believe it's 2 years ago. I commissioned this work. I got the report in January. It was an excellent report advising me on the statutory change, the regulatory change, the administrative changes that need to be made. It was a draft report. I asked the PS immediately to write the Minister of Finance to say, have the report finalized, and the Honorable Minister of Finance, we've spoken, and he's the one to take the report to Cabinet. And when that report goes to Cabinet, if it is approved, I intend to implement the changes. And I've said that the changes will involve the way in which the Land Survey Board is composed, the way in which the disciplinary committee is composed, and the way in which this matter of private practice by state-employed land surveyors is dealt with. And then we get to the surveying profession itself. And one of the things I had to confront as minister was the fact that the public service regulations allow for land surveyors employed in the public service to also perform services privately. But the thing that stuck out to me was that in the years 2020 and 2021, 5 surveyors employed by the state performed about 1,900 private surveys. I would estimate that in doing 1,900 surveys, the fees involved would be about $20 million.
Which is
and I believe you use the correct term, that the performance of private surveys by surveyors employed in the public sector is an unfair advantage over the surveying profession. As minister, I have at least 50 active files with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. All the complainant is the minister. There's no public officer. I am the minister. You know the implications of that?
Yeah.
The implications is that when the matter comes up, if charges are laid, I am going to be the one spending time in court giving the evidence. The statements have been given by me. And in one case, I think it's unprecedented, I had to go to the police station to identify an ID parade to identify somebody. And there's no public servant giving a statement. And those matters, I will give you the range of them. It has to do with a patrolman, somebody, a public servant employed by the state to go around and identify improper dealings with state land occupation and so on. And that person entering into a transaction with the person who was functioning as Commissioner of State Lands, where the Commissioner of State Lands issues a letter to the person saying, go ahead and build a house on that land. And only to end up in court because it was private land.